Hello, Internet. How's it going? My name is Psychomax. Welcome back to another just random Warframe Wednesday. And since this week we had the release of the new Prime Resurgent, which was Hildren and Wisp, I thought maybe the next couple of videos would be fun to go over my Hildren and Wisp videos because. Oh, apologies about that. Because Wisp and Hildren are by far two of my strongest Warframe builds. And I've got a few, but these two absolutely destroy. And I decided to start with Wisp because her build is the most complete. So let's go ahead and talk about that. And we'll see what you guys think about it. And be sure to let me know what you think about it in the comments section down below. Do you like it? Do you not like it? Would you change it in some way? Share your own builds. If you have any ideas for another video, you can leave that down there below as well. And if you like this kind of content, please remember to like and subscribe. And you can also leave me messages over on my private Discord server linked in the description. So give that a look if that's something that interests you. Okay, so to start with Wisp, let's look at her Archon shards. I forgot to talk about the Archon shards for Kalervo, but I didn't have any on him, so I don't feel like it was really all that missed. I am putting Archon shards on him now, but it's still not done. Now for Wisp, we are taking full advantage of her 4th ability with its augment that came out not that long ago to do just some absolutely serious levels of FU damage. And so to augment that, I have 4 Topaz Orange shards in here, giving me bonus of 60% total damage anytime I do a radiation status effect to an enemy, which Soulgate does give you. And then because I just recently learned that by adding my motes, which I heavily rely on my motes, and I have the augment on her as well that gives you all 3 at once, but specifically the speed mote, anytime I apply the speed mote to Wisp, and then I use her 4, it actually applies corrosive damage to enemies. I didn't know that. Never really read her tips, didn't really care. She was devastating already anyways, and like, I was just, you always want to use all of her motes. That's just how you play Wisp. But learning that little tidbit, I actually had 5 of the Topaz shards in here, but knowing that, I did go ahead and I took out one of the 5 Topaz shards, and I put in this green, giving me 3 extra stacks of corrosive damage for a full 98% corrosive damage armor strip. And I'm also thinking I might actually replace another one of these later with a Tau Yellow casting speed, just to make things a little bit faster, but that one is more to taste than anything. If you don't care about casting speed, then you're perfectly fine. As for her build itself, I'm running Nourish as a Helminth subsume over her 2, because I've never used her 2 even before Helminth was a thing. I never really used her 2, so it was the easiest one to replace. That's giving us some viral damage in addition to the radiation, the heat, and the corrosive. So lots of status effects being thrown around, but this is also giving us some really good healing on top of that. So really, really good to have that. Just bonus healing on top of your reservoirs, always giving you just massive amounts of health. Haste motes are giving you attack speed and fire rate. Your shock motes are giving you electricity procs, which is why we're running Archon Stretch in here, giving her more range for her stuff, but also every time she applies electricity to an enemy, she gets energy regen. And between Archon Stretch, Energy Siphon in the aura slot, and Nourish for the subsume, we never run out of energy, period. So we're able to use things like Blind Rage and kind of nuke our efficiency into the ground because we don't need it. We have so much energy regen, it's not a consideration. I'm running Archon of Vitality in here because Soulgate does give off heat procs, and for anybody who doesn't understand what Archon Vitality does, is every time you apply 1 heat proc to an enemy, it applies a 2nd heat proc. So anytime you do damage with an ability that applies heat. So for every heat proc you apply to an enemy, Archon Vitality applies it again, giving you 2 heat procs for the price of 1, and it's pretty nasty. So, and then we've got Umbral Intensify in here to increase our power strength even more, and that is not the baseline. Well, it is the baseline. It's not the end of that power strength increase. Again, I'm running Fused Reservoir in here so that we can use all of her motes at once. I don't have to cycle through all of them. I just one tap, and it drops all 3, and we can just keep going. And then Cataclysm Gate, which allows me to just drop her 4 on the ground in a massive AoE to burn everything to cinders in seconds. It's absolutely destructive. And then just for a little bit extra survivability, I have Adaptation in here and Prime Sure-Footed, because taking less damage is always great, and getting knocked on your ass saves you so much time. Not being knocked on your ass saves a lot of time. Apologies, I said that wrong. And then just to add insult to the cake are Arcanes. Arcane Blessing, every time I pick up a health orb, it increases my overall max health, stacking 50 times, times 24. It's a significant amount, and the increase between Arcane Blessing and her health mote over here and Archon Vitality in here, our max health is hitting over 3,000, which means we get the maximum bonus on Arcane Bellicose, which gives us an additional 6% strength every 250 health, maxing out to 72%, and it requires you to have a max health of 3,000 to get that full 72% power strength, which actually makes this, in this regard, stronger than Molt Augmented, which is the general go-to for Warframes. And if you don't have this set up and you can't get your health quite that high, that's okay. Then again, just go ahead, take these out. You can put in, Arcane Molt Augmented, and then alternatively, I would say in this spot, I would put Arcane Crepuscular, giving you even more damage on your Soul Gate, because our companion we're running is Shade. And in his precepts, he is going to be making you go invisible, and just like a Horus Crew Bro, as long as you're only casting abilities, you're never going to leave that invisibility, provided there's enemies nearby. And just to show off the rest of the build here for Shade, this is something I just kind of threw together. We've got Calculated Redirection for some extra survivability on him, Vacuum, obviously, Prime Regen so he doesn't go down, Animal Instinct so that you can see loot and enemies on your map. Guardian is if I've got shields and I lose my shields. No, I didn't. Now they're back. Makes it just nice. Real easy utility mod. And then in addition to that, we have Contagious Bond. When your companion kills an enemy afflicted with status, the effects spread to other enemies, which is fantastic. Momentous Bond, killing Eximus enemies grants 120% bonus of a random elemental damage to your companion for 30 seconds, and it reduces recovery time, which is the biggest reason that's there. Manifold Bond, companion preset mods apply status effects to companion weapons, from companion weapons, and killing enemies with 3 or more unique status effects reduces companion cooldown. So if I die, this goes significantly down. This is here for something that's a bit of a unique synergy that I'm going to be testing, and that is, first of all, Coolant Leak. Coolant Leak is a preset mod, so anytime Coolant Leak is procced, which is it does an AoE cold effect, that activates Manifold Bond, which then applies all of the statuses I have to my weapon as an AoE precept to all my enemies. So I've got Corrosive and Heat again here on this weapon, just for the funsies. And then the other thing I'm going to be testing out is Shivering Contagion. I don't know if this actually works or not, but I want to see if it maybe will actually proc. So this says on cold status effect, 100% chance to spread the status to other enemies within 6 meters, and I'm wondering if having Coolant Leak as a precept on Shade will actually proc Shivering Contagion, meaning it just expands how far out Coolant Leak actually applies to enemies. Of course, it's not going to matter too much because they're all going to be relatively dead relatively fast anyways. let's get into the test, and we'll just show you exactly what Wisp is all about. So I've already got my one set up so that I just immediately... I'm going to have to change that. That is the tap. If I tap the button, it swaps them. And then I press and hold, and it drops all three. So, you're always going to start doing that. I want to reverse those so that the tap is just drop promotes, and it's done. But you're always going to have those active. And this mode, if you've never played Wisp before, is infinite. It never leaves. As long as this sits here, as long as this flower is never touched, this will stay here forever, or until you recast enough times that that it disappears, because you can only have a max of 6 motes at a time of the 3 types, and casting this one counts as 3, so you can have 2 of these simultaneously at any given time on the map, but the moment I cast a third one, the first one disappears. But other than that, as long as like a nullifier never touches this flower, this will never go away, and you'll always have those buffs, and so you probably should be casting it all the time. So now let's show you the damage stacking on this build, because it's kind of significant. We're going to go ahead and pause AI for this, and we've got Scalder Dedicants, fine, that'll work. They're nasty. So the way this works is you come out here, we're already proccing that status effects with the electric motes. They're already getting shocked. Now let's go ahead and show you the 3 levels of just fuck you. And we'll start with the 4. Okay, that's the 3. I'm using a different mouse than I normally play with, and so I don't know where my buttons are. So you can see that it's good damage. And now that they're starting to die, you can see the breach surge is working. I didn't actually want to show the breach surges, but they do a lot of damage. And now we've just got this one buddy left, and there he goes. Okay. Let's show that again without pressing the wrong button, because I want to show off just exactly, like, we've got the electricity that's always going to be proccing, that's giving us energy. So I just dropped the Soul Gate out by itself, and you can see the damage numbers. You can see how effectively it's tearing through their overguard, and then subsequently you can see their health starting to drop. The corrosive damage is eating through their armor, so they're taking some pretty good damage, but it does leave a little bit to be desired, right? Because it's not significant. Well, we already saw what happened with the Breach Surge. That's where you throw this in here, because it doesn't just blind enemies, but then when the enemies actually start dying, the Breach Surges take effect, and they are just absolutely devastating. But then, if you can take that even one step further... I'm going to wait for that timer to run out on Soulgate. There we go. Let's go ahead and respawn them again. And this is where Nourish comes into play. So you press Nourish. Now, you shock them. You can see it's already applying Viral. It's already applying Corrosive. Now we're going to apply the Breach Surge and drop the Soulgate. And it's a significant level of damage. And it's also important to point out that this little ball on the ground that you drop the Soulgate, you can deploy 3 of them at once. So I can have a Soulgate there, and another Soulgate here. And I can have 3 of these going at one time. If I cast a 4th, you'll see the first one goes away. So you can cover an extremely large area of effect. And you'll notice that I haven't touched my weapons. I don't need to, and these are some of the strongest enemies in the game. Now let's go ahead and unpause the AI, and we'll show you what Wisp is capable of even without it, because we're just going to jump up here, drop that down, hit Breach Surge, so they all start taking damage. And there you go. Like, there's never any normal situation in the game where you're going to be fighting 20 of these guys at once, but between the damage mitigation that I have with adaptation, the inability to be knocked down thanks to Prime Sure-Footed, those cover me when I'm not invisible. If for some reason I decide to go ahead and fire my weapon, which right now I'm using the Sea-Doo, it's one of my favorite weapons in the game, that'll cover me in case they don't, they do manage to actually see me. And I can even go ahead and show that. 2, 3. Go ahead and just turn the invisibility off. They can actually shoot me. Doesn't really matter. I'm gonna apply Breach Surge. You can see my health is being regenerated so bloody fast that they just can't harm me. It doesn't matter. The invisibility isn't important. It doesn't matter. They all just die. Period. So, yeah. That's my Wisp build. I just felt like showing it off. And I hope that maybe it's something you guys think is fun. But again, feel free to share me your own builds if you want in the comments down below or in my Discord server. And remember, if you like this kind of stuff and want to see more, be sure to like the video and hit that subscribe button so that you can catch the next episode. I upload Warframe content every week, every Wednesday, and the rest of the week I typically do no commentary Let's Plays of some of your favorite story narrative RPGs and whatnot. Right now I'm working on Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, so give that a check, a look, and see if it's something that you enjoy. I'd appreciate it. But yeah, I don't know what else I can say about Wisp. She's absolutely fantastic, and she is available right now for in the Prime Resurgence. You can get her and Hildurin together for, I think it's like, if you buy the max Regal Aya package, you'll get like 1200 platinum and 15 Regal Aya, and then you can get the double pack that has Wisp and Hildurin and all of their weapons, all of their cosmetics, their profile glyphs, everything for 10 Regal Aya. It's definitely a deal worth getting, yeah. That's about all I can say on that. Definitely go pick her up if you haven't yet. Wisp is fantastic. And with the new piece coming out soon, she's going to be getting a new skin, so even more reason to go and get her as soon as possible. So, thanks for watching, everybody. Been a blast. Really hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know what you thought, and I will see you all next week for another Warframe video where we're going to be talking about Hildurin. So, stay tuned. Have a great week. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.